Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast. Episode 80 confirmed before starting for once.
No confusion, actually confirmed.
On my right,
I'm Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
and on my left.
Tyler, also known as just Tyler.
And we are having a relatively short show today so that we can go play video games.
I can sleep.
Yes, Tyler is going to go to bed.
Yes.
Tyler's had a very long few days. And that's not a joke, sadly.
Nah.
Rip.
But Tyler, you can start your nap early because our first topic is about magic.
Time to talk about Magic the Gathering.
There's a bunch of little news,
I mean, the last
5-minute or
Bolt
less
the first
topics.
two were short.
So for a while now, ever since the creation of Arena, people quickly started to wonder, hey, what's the new format going to be? Because Magic has Standard, which is the rotating format, but there's Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Commander, all these non-rotating formats where you get to play
Essentially,
your
a
cards.
place to use your cards that have rotated.
Yes, out of Standard.
For anyone who plays Hearthstone, I think that the mode is called Wild.
Yes. When Magic Arena was created, this wasn't really a problem because not even all of Standard was on Arena. But we are now, with the release of not Core Set 2020 in a week,
It's actually technically out today on Arena, but the servers are fucked. So
well,
it's not
yeah,
out yet,
but I'm saying when the next set comes this next Standard Legal set comes out in 3 months, we will have our first rotation of Standard since Arena had all the sets. So people have been wondering when Wizards was going to announce what is the new non-rotating format of Arena. People are like, oh, is this going to be the new Modern? Is it going to be ranked, competitive? Is it going to be what's it going to be? So Wizards announced Historic, the format that is currently identical to Standard, and when rotation happens in the fall, it will just add the new set to it. And everybody went meh, because this is pretty radically disappointing. So at the very start of Arena, all the cards from Kaladesh block and Ixal and Amonkhet block were on the program, or we know they are, Friedman? I forget.
They were. So there were two stages of the beta. There was limited and then open. In limited beta, it was right before Guilds of Ravnica came out. They put a hard stop. They said, we're doing a account wipe on everyone. Anyone who spent money on gems is being refunded the gems they had spent. So anything you put in, you kept. But they reset everyone's collections. So that way, once it was open to the public, everyone was starting on the same foot. So I don't think anyone's collections actually hold cards from Amonkhet and Kaladesh block, but
correct.
Ixalan forward.
But the cards are in there, and people who have dug into the code have found references to cards from all the way as far back as Shadows over Innistrad block. So
yeah, they were originally doing like super early testing during Shadows, so that's the earliest set that's on the program.
So people have been wondering which ones of these sets are going to be in Historic, and the current answer is none, although Wizards has said they would potentially go back as time goes on. Basically, the issue is everyone thinks they're afraid of Kaladesh block, which is
100%.
fair because Kaladesh is a super strong artifact set, which is part of why I love it so. No, I'm kidding.
But between that and the strength that Mono Red got in Amonkhet,
yes.
I'm not surprised. Like, so here's the thing: I feel that because it's already there, it's easy money to add it after the fact. But this is one of those things where they don't want to jeopardize it. And right now, the safe bet is to start with the sets where the play design team was involved, where they have more semblance of balance.
So that's a great theory. And then Wizards,
I think it's good for the long-term health of the format.
Sure. And then Wizards completely shot themselves in the foot by saying, there is no ranked ladder for this. There is only casual play.
Yeah.
So immediately all grinders said, well, who cares then?
Yeah.
Grinder, like the dating website?
No,
oh my god.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like people who are like, I'm going to climb the ladder. And there is no ladder, so they're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not playing this format then.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep Historic in the same way that they keep Singleton and Pauper as the format they use for like event weekends.
Wait, what? No, Historic is the full format, I thought.
I understand that, but like they're going to so whenever they run like special events, in the past they've used either Singleton or Pauper usually as part of it. Now, I mean like Pauper standard. But they may end up using Historic as one of the like formats they use for events on Arena?
I guess, but this is an official format.
Yes.
So, but saying it's like an event format makes it sound like it's not. Like,
Sorry,
this is,
I want to reclarify. They're going to use the format for events because there was so much
Yes.
criticism of the jank formats they came up with for events. Like
yes, I
playing
understand.
Momir Basic with Planeswalkers in your deck was real fucking stupid. But playing Historic one weekend will probably be pretty cool.
Well, but really the issue just is this is arena only. There is no paper events of Historic. And it literally currently, for the next 3 months, it's just standard. There's no difference until rotation happens.
I mean, the problem would be if they didn't come out with it now, people would get like pissed
Fancy.
off. So
No,
so
I understand
it's
announcing
better
it
that
now,
they...
but like, if you're gonna announce it now, announce it as more.
I'm willing to bet next fall when they do the full rotation, if they see that the numbers are good for as just like a casual queue, they may bump it up to ranked once it has enough difference from standard. Because right now,
but arena
people are
players
like,
hate Teferi, and Big Teferi will finally go away now.
I know, I fucking hate him. But here's the thing though: if everyone really doesn't like the current set that comes out in the fall, people aren't going to buy like packs of it online. They're just going to keep playing Historic. So I guess the idea is they don't want people
optimistic.
They don't want people staying. Well, the thing is, keep in mind for the free-to-play players, they have their current collections. They have current decks. Rotation is really rough on the free-to-players. So they may end up just sticking with Historic. And the idea of keeping ranked in standard means they got to build a standard deck.
I don't know. I just think that I think this is almost the worst format they could have come up with. Even just adding
this is exactly what I expected. I really didn't think they were going to put the old sets back in.
But I mean, this just feels so lame.
I mean, it'll get better.
In 5 years.
I mean, look at what they did with this core set. They seeded a lot of shit for, like, potential...
Yeah, bringing Kaladesh in?
Well, no, like, Look, part of me was like, oh man, I can't wait for Artifacts to be busted with Steel Overseer, but deep down inside, I knew it wasn't coming back.
I don't know. We can move on. I think it's... I don't know. This isn't going to get me to play Arena or anything, but I don't know. Anyway.
I wasn't going to buy in just for... Whatever, moving on.
In much more exciting format news, we've talked about... Freeman just mentioned a format called Pauper, where you only play with cards that have been printed at common. For many years now, ever since the format started, it has had a split player and ban list. If you played on Magic Online, you had one ban list because some cards were printed on Magic Online as commons that were never printed in paper, and vice versa. Some cards were printed in paper as commons that never were printed that way on Magic Online, and Wizards has never officially said which is which. They finally announced Pauper is a format that we are going to support going forward. It is going to use both sets of commons, so anything printed at common anywhere forever is a viable card, which adds like 250 cards or 400 cards to the availability because they were in paper, and Wizards kind of leaned into Magic Online's version. And they immediately banned 3 cards: Sinkhole, Hymn to Torak, and High Tide for being too
Not
good.
even remotely surprised with those bans.
Those are too good
cards.
in 1v1.
Are they that good?
For
yes,
2 black mana, destroy a land. For 2 black mana, make your opponent discard 2 cards at random. Or for 1 blue, all your islands tap for double mana until end of turn.
Damn.
They are
Super
both...
broke.
High Tide is probably the most borderline because honestly, it's not like there's really that much busted stuff you could do with that mana in Pauper. Because if you think about it, commons tend to have a lower power level overall, or they tend to be like just a little more straightforward. But paying 2 black for land destruction, Sinkhole is a busted card, and Hymn to Torak is also legacy playable because it's so good to strip 2 cards, even if you don't get to pick what they are, like with some 1 mana spells. I mean, if your opponent played 2 lands and played 1 spell, they have 5 cards in hand. Spoiler alert, you're probably going to hit 2 good cards out of their hand for 2 black mana.
Yeah, I've never gotten hymned and had a good experience after.
Yeah, so people are very excited. It's a big deal that this is a format that is supposed to appeal to people because of its price. Although, if you want to play an actually good Pauper deck, they're all based on really old commons that are expensive. So it kind of it sort of defeats the purpose, but the idea is you can still build like a good pauper deck for like $200, whereas even a good modern deck usually runs like 4+.
Damn, this is so weird. When I started playing Modern, I think like 400 was like
The
the entry
baseline.
for Modern, and like Pauper was sub $80 decks, and now it's
Yeah.
just everything is so
Magic's just
inflated.
getting too big, man. There's too much. They need reprints all the time because it's just.
Yeah.
Um. Last thing though, we're going back to Arena for more sadness.
Oh man,
Freeman,
so
you can explain this because you and
so I
Luigi
love
live
this.
this
So I
life.
I spent I spent weeks on the Pokemon subreddit watching everyone get salty, and then suddenly Wizards did it. So they had announced they wanted to do this new kind of reward system. So the current way it works is you get gold and random cards for your daily wins on Magic, but every 5 wins in a week you get a pack up to 15 wins. So you can get 3 packs a week, and that's the system they've had for the last year. They experimented with the new player experience where you have this like kind of level up thing where you play a certain number of decks and you unlock more decks by going through this what essentially looks like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X. And I watched Luigi go through it because I didn't get a chance to experience it. It seemed cool. Then they announced they wanted to bring that kind of sphere grid experience to the normal everyday experience for everyone. And what it boiled down to was instead of getting a pack for every 5 wins, instead it was um, when a set comes out, they release a like essentially a sphere grid, and you can level up from 0 to 100 during that set's like period. And I think every level or every other level you get a pack. And someone did the math on it. They're like, okay, well, if a set is only like 12 weeks between sets, then you'd still get the same number of packs if you got all your weekly packs. And we're like, all right, great, this is fine. It's like a neutral change, and it allows them to monetize it because now like you will unlock the default grid for a free to play player. You get the same rewards, or you can buy, and this is where they dipped into Fortnite territory. You buy the battle pass, which for the duration of that set's release, you essentially get double rewards. So you can get stuff like cosmetics, extra random mythics. You get back some amount of gems if you actually max it out. So for like power players, it's worth it. If you don't play that much, I don't recommend the battle pass. And everyone's like, okay, cool. They're monetizing it. The free to players keep exactly what they had before. The whales now have a new way to spend money. This is fine.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
but here's where the problem came in. Uh, Wizards announced that you couldn't like so some players like I do this a lot is I'll jump on Saturday and I'll just grind out 10 wins to finish off my weekly wins. Wizards is heavily pushing for the you play every day model. Every day you get EXP for your first 3 wins, and that's it. And someone did the math, and they're like, "Oh, there's 100 levels, and if you go through their EXP every day, like you'd only hit level 84, and that's if you play every single day." And I was like, "All right, what's the deal?" Like they announced that you could straight up buy level, so is this just a cash grab? So Wizards clarified this morning that like that wasn't their intention. They are aware that you cannot hit 100 just from grinding day to day, but they said everyone should be able to hit 100 because they are doing like events like if you play during like a mythic championship, it's double exp. They're giving out codes every couple weeks for like extra exp. Like the weekend events I talked about, those will give extra exp. So there's opportunities to get to 100 instead of just grinding 15 wins on a Sunday and rank queue. So like Wizards didn't want to give us a real look behind the curtain, but they kind of showed us, and everyone's still upset because they're really heavily pushing this jump in, play, win 3 games a day, and jump out kind of model. And everyone's like they're going down the mobile cash grab route, and this isn't that great. Um,
Which is
I don't know.
funny because their game currently isn't on mobile.
It's not on mobile. Everyone's screaming the sky is falling. Personally, like this game is was a hard. It was hard to be a free to player on this game. Like I spent a decent amount of money playing this, but like everyone is just screaming so fucking loud. Like maybe this is what everyone who didn't give a shit about Pokemon was feeling when we all were mad. But like everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Like if you care enough about the game to go screaming about it, like I don't know if you really only cared enough to play one day. Like the people who are only playing one day are like screaming like bloody murder. I'm like I don't like I don't know if I get it. Like I understand they're disappointed. I don't like a daily EXP cap. Like I want to just have a day where I sit down and play like 2 hours of Magic instead of jumping in for 15 minutes. But I don't know. There's both sides have all right. The side that's angry has a compelling argument, but I don't think that Wizards is 100% like bending them over here. We'll see how it plays out. Unfortunately, the servers are straight up
It's
crashing right now, so
Yep.
no one can get in. So we'll find out later this week how it is.
on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but that's it for Magic the Gathering. So Tyler, you can wake up officially.
Woohoo! I mean, a
Oh,
lot of
man.
this next news is very, very short. This one I just threw on here because I remember playing this. Apparently, Terraria is getting its last update after 8 years. Not like it's
surprised they're
been
still
8
updating it.
years, but apparently it's been getting updates this whole time, and they said it's their last one.
Yeah, I think the devs are moving on to something else, but they just wanted to give a little bit of support at the end here.
I kind of I wish I could. I wish I had the time to go back and play Terraria. I remember when way back in the day when I first got into Minecraft for a while, and then I switched to Terraria, and I loved Terraria. I liked to me Terraria was a lot more fun than Minecraft. Coming off of Minecraft, because Terraria had a lot more of a game feel to it. Minecraft was just kind of this big build thing, and by the time you've dug to the center of the earth and maybe visited the Nether, because this was back when Minecraft was like still in beta.
Yeah, still super early.
Yeah, so there wasn't a ton to do. So unless you were like super creative and like or had some big plan of something you wanted to build or something, it just didn't have that much appeal to me. So I went to Terraria, and Terraria had all this game stuff of like finding treasure down in the bottom of the world and fighting boss monsters and all this other stuff and building different weapons and all this cool stuff. It was and building armor and everything. It was a lot more interesting and exciting to me to explore the world of Terraria and actually do stuff in it. Like I still remember the first boss that you fought to trigger, or when the update came out that took. There were 3 bosses, and then they put out an update that there was a 4th boss in the bottom of the world in the lava. This like wall of lava monster, and if you killed that, then it upgraded the entire world to like a hard mode. And there were new versions of the other bosses, and the enemies were like 10 times tougher, but you could build like Excalibur and King Arthur's armor and everything, and it was super cool. Yeah, that just appealed to me a lot more. And
yeah, I didn't get the chance to play Terraria, but I watched my brother play it a lot when it had just come out, and it looked like a lot of fun. But I was already playing Minecraft at the time, and I didn't want to double dip.
I would happily go back and play Terraria. I know that none of us are really into those kind of games anymore.
So I might play it next time I travel.
Ooh.
Because I was looking at Mac compatible games, and I realized Terraria does run on Mac, so I can.
I think
play
it's
that
a
when
lot
I'm
of fun.
traveling.
It's like Minecraft in that it's the kind of game you're like you have to have a fucking wiki open. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
but that's how it is with both of those games. And Terraria, I had a lot of fun just like going into caves and stuff. I think Terraria has a limited size world. Actually, the world is not limitless, or at least it wasn't. I keep in mind I haven't played Terraria in like 6 years, so it's been a hot minute. But I had a lot of fun with it back in the day, and I kind of want to. Like Minecraft's been popping up again lately, and I'm like, maybe I should go back to either Minecraft or Terraria for a little bit in the near future.
I just can't believe that anti-Fortnite community managed to make
Minecraft a thing again.
Minecraft popular again.
It's hilarious. I mean that's a game that also has been getting built up with updates forever and ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that that's really cool, and like I said, Terraria was awesome. It's always on sale, so I if I ever had the time, maybe like this Friday or next Monday when I'm off at weird times for work because of my scheduling, maybe I'll play a little Terraria or something. Freeman, you added this one. I don't know what this is.
So I was watching some YouTube while I was teleworking today, and everyone suddenly posted their videos about the GTX Super, and I'm like, what the fuck is this car?
Oh,
This
yeah.
isn't a car. This is a graphics card. So
This is a graphics car.
Duh. It's like if someone told me the GTX Super, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a car make. But Nvidia had an event today. Everyone thought this was their reactionary thing to just like AMD's new lineup of affordable cards, but Nvidia announced that they're updating, or sorry, not GTX, sorry, the RTX line. Normally, what they would do is they'd release their new set of cards, and then about a year later, they release the TI Titanium. I don't know what the fuck their actual stand for. They'd release the TI version of the cards, which is basically just an enhancement on the cards, usually more power, but for the same price that the old ones originally were, and then usually drop the price on the non-TI versions. When the RTX line came out, they launched the TIs like day of. And I was a little confused. I'm like, all right, so is it just like straight up different hardware inside, not improved hardware? And that's what it was. It was just different. I think it was die shape they were using. But point is, they announced the new Super line, which is at the same price as the old ones, but better performance. So if you did not buy an RTX card up to now, congrats. There are better cards for the same price that they were before. If you bought an RTX card in the last year, like I don't know, someone who did. Oh, that's right, it was me. If you're someone like me, you got fucked.
Look,
You got
that's
fucked
that's
hard.
always how graphic cards are.
Opportunity cost. It's a real thing.
I don't.
And I'm not salty because
especially
I'm not
my
going to
one,
be. Go
my
ahead.
coworker. I was in my coworker. He literally just bought a 2060.
Damn.
I mean,
And
that's
like
literally
as in
how
like
this
last
always
week.
goes, though. There's always a new card every like 3
But,
months or
damn.
so.
That said, I really don't give a shit because this 2070 is going to last me a while. Having that very incremental boost on the 2070 Super isn't really going to matter. But I'm just upset that this is the naming scheme they decided to go with. Like, I was already mad.
Super.
I was already mad with
Dragon Ball
after.
Super.
I was already mad with after the 1080. They're like, yeah, we're not going to do the 11 series. We're going to go do the 20. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, you're going to do the 20, 30, whatever. But then they're like, oh, by the way, the 1660 is out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's the 1160? Like, why are you just jumping numbers randomly? And now they're like, RTX Super. And I'm like, calm down. This sounds
Honestly,
stupid.
it's probably partially because they're like, we don't want to fall into the trap of having big sequential numbers. Like the PlayStation 5 is starting to look a little like the fifth one, huh?
Man, it's fine.
Nah, we just need to name it like we just need to call it the PlayStation 1 next. That way it's not
my
intimidating.
God.
Oh God, no.
Why have you done this? I can't believe you've done this.
Look, I'm genuinely concerned. What are they going to call? Is it really Xbox Scarlet? Like, is that? There's no way that's the final name for that.
It's called
console.
Project Scarlet right now, but that's never been the
Why is
that never
Scarlet if
converts
it's
into the
green,
name.
Though?
Yeah, I mean, like Project Revolution became Wii, Project Dolphin became GameCube. Except for Nintendo DS, all the project names I know for consoles always change.
Whatever.
Yeah, but yeah,
Xbox has never carried it through. Not that I
yeah,
remember.
that's why I'm genuinely curious what the next one's gonna be. But yeah, no, Super looks dumb. If you look at the what are they called? Founders Edition cards. They put this like ugly green sticker on it to note that it's Super, and I hate it.
Lurk.
But if you're in the graphics card market, congrats. The board partner cards should be coming out shortly. They should be using all the same core designs from the last round, but possibly improved because they've had 2 years of producing these cards to know what works and what doesn't. So now's a good time to be buying a graphics card.
Oh boy.
But moving on.
Time for Freakout.
So I alluded to some disappointment in the Pokemon community when I talked about Magic. We talked about that disappointment several weeks ago, and it was finally starting to die down.
Nope.
For anyone who was out of the loop, Game Freak announced that they were not including all Pokemon in the newest game. You could not transfer them in, and this opened the floodgate of people to start really voicing their complaints about how Game Freak has been super lazy for the last.
Okay, Freeman, I'm gonna ask before we get into this new point. Do you genuinely think this is a sign that this game is not going to sell as well?
No, it's still
it's still gonna sell like hotcakes. And
do you think it'll? Okay, fine.
So what happened this week is like attention to it's kind of dying out, and then Junichi Masuda, the director of the last 5 or 6 generations of Pokemon, makes an official statement, and it was this long, clearly vetted by HR PR statement that said, we hear your complaints, we're not changing a thing.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck.
It was a big slap to the face, and it just got the community outraged a second time. Just be like, what was the fucking point? Like,
so stupid.
Like, what? You're gonna acknowledge it? That's worse than like not even acknowledging.
What did you like? Literally, it was already dying down. Why did you say something?
Like, yeah, like you could have gotten away with it, but this is just like this is nail in the coffin. Like, there's like if you go on Facebook, there's a big group of people, and I was kind of trying to not be one of them with Magic, but there's a group of people where if the problem doesn't bother you, then it's not a problem. Same way that I kind of feel about Magic. Like I agree with them. It sucks that if you played once a week, you're kind of SOL. But I don't think that's a reason to shut the fuck up.
Don't play once a week. Or sorry.
No, I'm saying the people who only play once a week are shit out of luck. I don't think.
Sorry, I thought you said.
I don't think they should shut up just because it only matters to them. The same way, if you go on to literally any Facebook news page talking about Pokemon, there's a whole group like, you're a bunch of babies, just shut up. Be glad you're getting a game. And it's just like I understand this problem doesn't bother you, but it bothers someone else. Like let them voice their opinions.
Why can't we be friends?
And where was I getting with this?
Why are they like?
Why
are you like this? Like you put in the
but like one of the big arguments was stop complaining. They're just gonna patch it in later, and he straight up said we're not gonna patch it in.
We ain't doing that. Why?
So like the biggest argument for everyone to not be outraged is gone. It's straight up deconfirmed. So now we can all genuinely complain for the rest of eternity about how they ruined Sword and Shield.
Live
Like,
on air,
I
watch
want-
them kill themselves.
I want to get this game because I think the raid mechanic they're doing is actually great for the series. Like they're adding a co-op element to it, but I can't support this. Like I am not buying this at launch, and I'm going to be desperately looking for specifically used copies from someone who's not just going to go out and buy another copy later on. Like I want to play this, but I don't want to add any more money to Nintendo's pocket doing this.
You know you're gonna buy that shit day one freely.
No, I'm not.
I hope.
Do you want to know
hope
why?
not.
I'll bet money.
Do you want to know why I'm not?
Why?
Because Death Stranding comes out 2 weeks before it, and
There
Astral
it
Chain,
is.
which looks fucking amazing, comes out 2 weeks after. So I have something to actually keep me distracted.
True.
You're not
All
just
right,
wallowing in it.
Look, after going back on my word with Let's Go Pikachu and getting burned by it, I learned my lesson. Don't
All right,
give in to
listen,
the
we all,
Pokemon
but
hype.
here's the difference though. We knew Let's Go Pikachu was gonna be straight garbage.
But I like the nostalgia got to me at the end when they were like the Master Trainers, like, oh, you have
Yeah,
to
and
catch
guess
them all
what?
and then
You
beat the
fucked
Master
up.
Trainers.
And
I fucked
guess
up.
what?
It's not that
Fucked
good.
up. You didn't listen to your boy, Big Titty Anime.
Look,
Damn.
listeners, I'm gonna tag a comment in the timestamp on when the fuck is it? It's like November. We're gonna reference this shit, and if so, help me God, if I go back on my promise, I want everyone in the comment section to just roast the shit out
Okay,
of me.
we will remember.
All 5 of our listeners can roast the shit out
Pepperidge
of me.
Farm is gonna remember.
Yeah, I'm not getting this game at launch. Anyway, that's about it for the current Game Freak out. I don't know what else to say at this point. They're gonna keep announcing more shit for the games, and it's gonna get me excited. But no, I am resolved. I'm not pre-ordering. I am purchasing from someone else, pre-owned, like
Damn.
probably mid-December.
GameStop's got you covered.
But I am
Yeah,
not paying
GameStop.
Nintendo for this shit.
Damn, you're gonna go pay GameStop? That's how much hate you have?
I'd rather support a dying company than support
Damn.
a dying company like Game Freak.
Woo.
Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. I can run to the bathroom now because you guys are going to talk about a game I have literally no experience with.
What is it? What's the next one?
So the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster.
Man, what the fuck is
Hold on,
this
no.
shit?
So I thought this was an interesting story to talk about. So
All right, bye.
when they first announced that all the Final Fantasy remasters were coming to the various consoles, including Switch, 8 was explicitly left out, and there were a ton of rumors flying. One of which had to do with like the confirmed rumor that they used to not save their source code, so they didn't
Yes.
have access to like how they made 7 or 8. But they did have access to the Final Fantasy VIII source code, but they elected not to include it as a re-release, and this is part of why. When they first announced all this stuff, I think it was last fall, so it was end of 2018. But Final Fantasy VIII came out in 1999, which means this year is the 20th anniversary. So they already had plans to do like an enhanced remaster. So they intentionally left it out because they really wanted to show off like how much better it's going to be this time around. And that said, a pretty reputable online retailer did include details that this version would include voice acting.
What?
Which, yeah, Final Fantasy VIII did not have voice acting in its original version.
I'm aware. None of the PlayStation 1 games.
None of
had,
the PS1s did. Final Fantasy X was the first one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that was when they could finally fit voice files on a DVD.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes. I'm still playing through this game now. I was just grinding the day. I finally got to the Comlands, and
Oh.
random ass monsters are
God
like
damn,
one-shotting
you're
me.
taking your sweet ass time.
Dude, I'm fucking busy.
I don't give a goddamn.
Like I only have like a couple hours to sit down. Like every time we're like, hey, everyone, let's play games. That's an opportunity for me to
Goddamn.
not
I
go and
thought-
play this awful fucking game that I
I
love.
thought you would have at least made it to the fucking Mount Gagaset.
The last time I played this game was actually 4 weeks ago. Like I am just,
God damn.
I'm busy. But point is,
Sweet.
I didn't like Final Fantasy VIII the first time I played it. But the question is are enhanced graphics and voice acting going to get me to play it? And for Nintendo Switch, probably. That said, I have no.
I'm never
I've-
playing that trash fire ever again.
I don't
Damn.
blame you. I don't have enough time to actually play through 8, so I'm probably not
Aiden-
going to.
Aiden loves that game, by the way.
Well, like, so the one thing I liked about it was really easy for me to not pay attention to the game. Like, I can go into a battle and know I'm just gonna draw 99 times off this one enemy, and it's like, cool. Let me watch a movie while I do this.
Oh my
There
god.
was, there was
But that's the
There's one-
thing, though. Like
that's
you
a bad
have to-
game.
you have to do that, though. You
Yeah.
gotta do that, or else, like later on, I think I've told the story. I've told the tale on this podcast. But like, if you don't build the foundation for your stats early enough in the game, you get fucked.
Yeah,
Like you put yourself in a situation where you can't crawl out of it, and so it's like it's just a bad system. It's a very bad system, and it Like nothing is ever gonna make me play that game ever again.
Damn.
And the story was trash.
But the romance. Don't take that comment seriously. The romance is pretty. It's like watching Japanese
The only thing that
like
I
visual
like
novel.
is the opening sequence that they have between the fight between Cypher and Squall.
Oh, that shit's hype.
Yeah, like the song is pretty fire. Like the action scene is fire.
I wonder if they're gonna remake it in like higher definition.
I mean, I honestly don't know how much higher they're gonna get. Honestly,
I mean, the new
but
one looks pretty good. Like, there's one of my favorite memes of Final Fantasy VIII is there's a scene where you're at this ball and what's her name? Renoa comes up to you and he's like, "You're the most handsome person here." But thanks to the graphics, you can't fucking see the main character's face. So
yes.
the meme just zooms in on his face and it's the most pixelated garbage. Here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna copy this into the Discord so you guys
The
can
most
appreciate it.
I feel like I've
person
seen it, but
here.
that's really funny.
Listeners, if you just Google Final Fantasy VIII handsome, this
Yeah.
is the first image to come
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It is a very iconic
Quality.
part in the
Iconic
entire
meme.
game. But just Squall's just a bitch, man. Like
Look,
I know
man.
Cloud is. I know Cloud's a straight bitch, but like Squall has zero reason. He's got literally no reason.
So this game almost completely escaped my mind until I started looking into Monster Hunter World and saw there's this lance that's also a gun, and your starting one has a giant revolver barrel on your lance. I'm like, damn, this is if they took the gun blade and made it into a spear.
Made it
This is
interesting.
ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's reminding me a lot of that.
Man,
But you know what else Final Fantasy reminds me of?
I fucking hate it. Shit. What,
It reminds me
shit?
of the
Yeah,
Weeb
fuck you.
shit.
There we
Yes.
Said it.
go.
Everyone, be impressed. It's time for the Weeb shit.
Man, we are
So let's
rock.
get right
Oh
into it.
my
Oh
god.
my god. Okay.
We are
All right,
rocketing
so-
through this podcast.
Yeah, this is gonna be a real
This is
short
gonna be a
episode. We have absolutely nothing to talk
sub-hour
about.
podcast, but hey,
We'll see if I
Monster
can
Hunter.
drag out the Weeb shit. So,
Monster Hunter. Though.
so 2 days ago, Attack on Titan concluded the second half of the third season.
And everybody was like, "Wow, it's so good."
It had a very, how do I want to describe this? The last episode was really weird because this show is taking a very big tone shift.
Oh yeah.
Tyler, I agree with a lot of your comments you sent the other day about like how much you hate the red-haired kid.
Yeah, I hate that fucking red.
I mean, I think you're supposed to hate
red
him.
hair.
You're not like he's supposed to be trying to tell it like it is, but he's telling you shit you didn't want to hear.
I'm gonna.
No, it's not even like that. I just think he's annoying.
Oh, he's also really out of
Like-
place berating the squad at a funeral.
Like, yeah, I get his role in the whole thing. Like he's supposed to be like the coward that, you know, speaks the truth. We all gotta tell the truth, but like the way like he's just whiny. And his voice just grates against my fucking ears, and I'm like, I can't do this.
So without spoiling anything, I think the biggest importance of that scene is him and Eren are about to fight, and then Gene, the dude who's literally always popping off with Eren, is the voice of reason and says, "Guys, knock it off." And I thought that was a really great character moment for him, because you see where he came from. Like, it wasn't even like 20 episodes ago. He was just like fighting in bars with Eren all the time.
True.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, this is ridiculous.
Anyway, this season was a 10 out of 10 in my books. This was fucking insane.
That was pretty great.
And thankfully, the official Attack on Titan Twitter tweeted out the night of the final episode that Attack on Titan will be returning next fall, so fall 2020,
Need all that time. They got a lot of budget to spend, so
for its fourth and final season, which I'm happy about because it sounds like they've spoken to the author of the manga. He's already indicated he wanted to end it within the year. So
I was gonna say,
like,
I feel like I've heard, or I was listening to my other podcast, and they're like, yeah, he said that he wrote the last panel or something.
Yeah, he's already drawn the last couple panels.
Yeah,
which is insane. He knows exactly how he wants to end it. But like he's been seeding shit for forever. Like he's had this master plan he's been alluding towards for a while, and it's ridiculous when you see the little crumbs he left behind. But
It's pretty wild.
it's insane. Like,
enjoyed this season.
I'm expecting this to wrap the same way Full Monogama's Brotherhood did, with like the perfect telling of the ending, because they have some time to work with the author on like, okay, how are you ending it? Because we need to work like the pacing of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like it might not look identical, but it's gonna end the same fucking way.
Like if they can pull off this final season, and it might be tricky because they've also haven't talked about what studio's going to work on it, even though everyone's bets are on Production IG taking over. It's if they can execute this final season, this may overtake Gurren Lagann as my favorite anime series, just because of how insane it got.
It got pretty good. Like I had to convince like everybody at my job. I'm like, yo guys, you gotta start Attack on Titan again. They're like, nah man, that last shit was
No,
weak.
the
I'm like,
female Titan arc sucked. And I'm just like, hold
I
up.
get you. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I get you, but just trust me on this. And they're like, I don't know, man. I'm like, yo.
The worst part is like you can't tell them jack shit or it ruins the show. Like this.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
the
I
twists.
don't recommend shows. No, the only thing I tell people, I'm like, you learn things, and they like get that look in their eye. I'm like, oh yeah, man, you learn things. Actually,
The best part was I forget. I tried to convince someone like, oh, are they even at the basement? Yes, they're at the basement. That's why I'm telling you to watch this. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh. So
Oh my
yeah,
wamo.
good show.
I
Moving on.
recommend.
Moving on.
Very
This is something
recommend.
I added to the Weeb shit, which is crazy.
What the hell is this shit?
So-
What is this?
Freeman, I don't know the exact like history of this, but Miyazaki, right?
Oh, is this his new one?
No, so this is like one of the studios that like is an offshoot of his studio. Oh no, not Miyazaki, Ghibli. Like Howl's Moving
Yeah.
Castle and all that stuff.
Well, just
Right?
to clarify,
Is that-
Studio Ghibli is the one where Miyazaki works, but not all Ghibli films are done by Miyazaki.
Okay, it's okay. This is okay. So I don't know the lineage, but I know Val loves Miyazaki's films. She loves Howl's Moving Castle. She likes Spirited Away a lot. I think Howl's her favorite. But we were hanging out with my friend on Friday night, and we saw that this new movie, Mary and the Witch's Flower, was on Netflix, and it is. Like I said, it's not a Miyazaki film, but it looks exactly like one, and it feels very similar. And I think the studio is one of the offshoots of Ghibli.
Yeah, so the former lead producer of Studio Ghibli, Yoshiaki Nishimura, split off to work on his own studio. He did principal design for, I think, Howl's Moving Castle was his first one he did at Ghibli. But his offshoot studio, Studio Pinnock,
Yes.
Pinnock. This is their first feature-length film.
So we watched it, and it was good, but I see a lot of the same formula stuff. I mean, I've only seen Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, but this felt a lot like Spirited Away, where girl gets accidentally pulled into weird situation and ends up being the hero while all these overpowered people manage to not deal with her, but it turns out that they all it looks exactly like a Miyazaki film. You could swear that this was still Ghibli working on it. It was crazy. It was pretty good.
Look this up.
It was pretty good. It was like I said, still gorgeous and overall very well produced. I didn't super love the story, but it's really interesting because it's another case of girl interacting with magic stuff that she doesn't understand, but she's great at it somehow.
So my favorite thing whenever I look up any of these like Ghibli or any like the Disney sponsored anime films is which random Hollywood star are they going to get for the dub? And I see Kate Winslet in the lineup here.
Of course.
Oh wow.
You know what this story reminds me of, Freeman? Reminds me of Little Witch Academia a little bit.
Oh, the synopsis?
Yeah, the synopsis.
Oh, I didn't read through it yet, but I
Tim
still,
just said it.
I still
Something
need to watch little. Well, no, Tim was describing the whole like, basically like the Ghibli setup.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
Oh, I know there's like the basic bitch who wants to learn magic and like she's just
No.
okay at it.
No. Not that's not this at all.
That's what I took from it.
I don't want to spoil too much because I know these aren't really about the story. It's more about like the message and everything. But it felt very, very Spirited Away to me. It felt very similar. Of girl looking for something, finds thing after dealing with crazy adventure of magic. But it was still good. It was still a good time. We watched it, and then my friend hadn't seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so we watched that for the 5th time.
Now that's a banger.
That movie was still fantastic, and I didn't realize that the Blu-ray has an alternate cut, so we're gonna have to watch it a 6th time at some point to see that alternate cut. But yeah, that's so that I would definitely, if you like Miyazaki films, I would check it out. I don't think you're going to be too disappointed.
I still have so many more Miyazaki movies I need to watch. Like I
I
still
know.
haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle.
That-
Yo, AMC is holding the
Oh, the marathons.
marathon, bro.
I can't do that. I can never like sit through more than 2 movies in a
Yep,
row.
that's very true.
Especially
2
with
is the
these
tops.
Miyazaki movies. I'll
Yeah,
fall
like
asleep.
like watching Princess Mononoke was I don't want to say it was a draining experience, but like I was tired after watching that movie. There was a lot going on.
Really, that's like my favorite one. I think that's the
No,
only one I'd be like cool with. And then it gets to Kiki's Delivery Service, and I'll be like,
See,
I'm
we need to
trying-
get Val on here like at some point to do a whole thing about Miyazaki films because she was telling me, and I can't remember which one. She's like, I like this one the most. I think Howl's her favorite, but some of them like,
Doesn't she cosplay from that one?
yeah,
Or is
she
it a
did.
different
She
one?
did the cosplay from Howl's as the main girl. I forget what it was. If it's like Princess Mononoke was one she didn't super like. I can't remember. I don't want to.
Yeah,
because
because it's super violent and it's incredible. Like in the first 30 minutes, a dude's arms get shot off with an arrow. It's
Damn.
incredible. Did you not see that movie?
No, I've only seen Howl's and Spirited
damn,
Away.
dude, you're missing out. It's
We're
great.
probably gonna get
It's like
through them.
Fern Gully, except like
It's Fern Gully.
what am I saying? It is Fern Gully, except people die.
Oh my
The only
god.
problem I have with that movie, and apparently I ruined it for someone, is when they finally meet the spirit of the forest. I thought he had the derpiest fucking face in anime, and I started laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't want to spoil what happens, but something like very bad happens in the next scene, and it's supposed to be sad, but I cannot stop laughing because of the face of the spirit of the forest. And apparently, I ruined the movie for someone. So my bad.
shit.
That's funny.
We missed a news story.
Oh,
What?
no.
Oh, we need to leave the weeb shit. real
No,
quick?
it's semi-weeb, I guess. Not really, but fuck it. The Witcher Netflix show put out the first image from behind Geralt's back and from looking at his face and seeing his armor and everything.
Oh, it looks a lot better now. Like the wig doesn't look as shitty.
No, I think it does look good, and the armor looks good. The one sword thing is hard to digest when you've played the video game, but people correctly pointed out in the books he's described as leaving his silver sword on his horse unless he actively needs it. Because the games are the ones who came up with him carrying both swords around on his back all the time. What?
No, I'm trying to remember. Is that? I guess I don't remember that.
I was reading through on r/Witcher, and most of the comments were like, people getting butthurt about the two swords being gone, but it's actually... And I'm like, thinking back, I feel like there is, like, the one or two times he ever actually uses the silver swords in the books, he talks about going to Roach and getting the sword. Because silver
Weren't people
is...
just joking about the swords were with Roach the whole show or something.
What?
Isn't that the current joke? Is that they're like, oh, the sword just must be with Roach?
I mean, that's not a joke for the silver sword. All I
I
know...
don't know, man. I don't know, dick.
Look, all I know is the show... it's so all over the place. Like, some headlines are like, the next Game of Thrones, and, like, all this other shit, and I'm like, you have not read The Witcher. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm still very nervous. Because it's like every good image has that few months ago when we saw the Nilfgaardian armor looked like fucking worse than cosplayers.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Anyway, we can go back to weeb shit. I just saw the headline on Google where it was like, hey, remember this image just came out? I'm like, ah, shit.
I'm always hesitant to believe like early promotional or even like not stuff that hasn't gone through
Yes.
post production. Like I know there was a lot of backlash when they first showed off what the new Teen Titans were gonna look like, and I don't know if it's out or anything about that, but like I imagine post production makes the whole thing look a lot better.
There's going to be a crossover something with the original animated Teen Titans? I saw a headline like
Wait,
yesterday.
between the live action and the animated, or
No,
between the two
between
different animated
Go
ones?
and the original.
Interesting. Man, I've outgrown that demographic.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Hard.
weeb shit.
Anyway, back to the weeb shit. Where were we? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Golden Wind, is slowly wrapping down. We have, I think, 3 or 4 more episodes, but they announced that the last episode is a 1-hour season finale.
Jeez.
I am like, this arc has been the most ridiculous shit. Like, this could have been a plot point you pull off for a 20-minute episode, and they've just been adding twists onto this one weird element, and it's been going for 4 episodes, and it's still really interesting. Like, this is like peak writing for JoJo, and I love this current arc, especially because honestly, part 5 has not been my favorite so far. Like, it really picked up in the tail end, but the early part was really pissing me off. That said, this is gonna be like the big JoJo send off for a while because Studio David Productions is working a lot of other stuff in the background. They've got Firefighters coming out next season, and that one's gonna be like 52 episodes. That's a year. I'm pretty sure they announced something regarding Cells at Work. So I know they may have another project for that in the works. That's also their brainchild. So we wouldn't get a JoJo Part 6 until after Attack on Titan started airing. Pretty much is like the earliest it could possibly happen, and even then, I doubt it. So this will be it for JoJo for a while. So everyone really wants to like appreciate this finale. It's gonna be good. Oh man, Food Wars manages to find its way back into our news once again, but this one is slightly more positive news than the last couple weeks. So Toonami has added Food Wars to its lineup. It's going to be airing, I think, at 1 o'clock. It's going to follow. So now they have something, then Dragon Ball Super, then Attack on Titan, then Sword Art, then Food Wars at 1 a.m. So it's like just late enough that they can probably get away without censoring it.
Do you still watch Toonami?
So I don't, but keep in mind, Toonami shapes the tastes of upcoming weebs.
Are they still?
That robot is crafting weebs in the factory.
You have no idea
know, man.
how many people watch
these
dubs.
Days, man. They're all about.
That's true. It is dubs.
It's dubs. So like the dubbed crowd, either they're paying for Funimation, because let's be real here, Funimation owns 80% of the stuff on Toonami right now. So either they have a Funimation account or they're watching on Toonami. Like, the reason, I don't know. Like, Hero Academia is becoming more popular with the high school crowd, and the question is, are they streaming it? The answer is probably yes. So now I'm curious, what platform? Regardless.
I don't know. I'm not in touch with
Look, it seems like it's still kind of a big deal for them to add it to Toonami, because there is limited time slots on an actual television channel.
Toonami is still a thing. For Funimation, it's important because they still do, or they've been doing simul dubs for most of their shows. So like what is it? Dragon Ball Super is not a good example. I think Black Clover is only like 3 or 4 episodes behind. Sword Art's not part of their simul dubs, but like Attack on Titan, they're airing season 3 right now. They're only a couple episodes behind. So like for a lot of weebs, this is it. Like, you're not that far behind if you watch the dubs on TV versus watching subs online.
Because I remember back in my day,
we used to get Dragon Ball 8 years after it finished airing.
Yeah, basically. Or like, what's it called? Basically anything, man. Like I remember I started getting fed up because when I was you and I was watching seasonal back in the day. I remember I think like Bleach or whatever. Like it first started with, like Death Note already finished, Code Geass already finished.
Yeah, it took a while for stuff to get to the US. Like I remember it was like my senior year of high school, I think, when Geass started, but Geass ended in 2007 in Japan. So it took like a full 2 years for like the dub to actually release and then be on Adult Swim. For context, one of our favorite shows, Mobile Fighter G Gundam. It started airing in the US in 2002. It started in 1994 in Japan. So it took them like 8 years.
Yeah, a hot minute.
For that beloved classic to make an appearance. But that said, we live in a different era now. Now you're 3 weeks behind the subs, and that's actually insane. And I think that for a section of Funimation's audience, they are watching Toonami, and that's why it's important. Like, Toonami's been good enough that they haven't downsized it. Like when Toonami was dying in the late 2000s, they started pulling hours away from it to start showing more like Robot Chicken at 2 in the morning. They haven't reduced Toonami's hours. They've shifted it an hour ahead and then shifted an hour back, but they haven't reduced the number of shows on it. And they've been constantly getting new shows. They haven't resorted to showing Dragon Ball Z reruns yet.
Yeah, true.
Or showing early Naruto episodes. Now they have like Boruto and Naruto Shippuden airing at the same time on this.
Lol.
Which is actually terrible. But I think it's a good thing. And more importantly, any of these dub-only weeaboos are going to get to experience Food Wars. Even if it's the dub. They'll get to know who true waifu Megumi is. Not Megumi, Megumi. Anyway.
Wrong, almost identical name, Friedman.
I know, it's really... I constantly screw the two of them up because it's one letter off, and they're both waifu. Anyway, moving on to the eternal waifu wars of Evangelion between Asuka and Rei.
Speaking of which, Friedman, how are the waifu wars doing?
Oh, hold on. I was going to wait to the end of the week.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. So, I talked briefly about how the fourth EVA movie will have the first 10 minutes shown up at Anime Expo. But they also announced that it's going to be live streamed as part of this Japanese streaming service, which means the rest of the internet's going to get their hands on it too by extension. So for all the EVA fans, the first 10 minutes is going to be released after Anime Expo. Get ready to watch this shit.
Interesting.
There's a running bet on how many shots are going to have multiple different CG models in and how overproduced this movie's going to be. So we'll see what happens. I have zero expectations because watching the first 10 minutes of any Evangelion movie is not enough to give you any like semblance of information. Like if I watched just the first 10 minutes of Eva 3, I would have like killed myself. They explained absolutely nothing in the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't think I really watched those yet.
The rebuild movies?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I definitely recommend if you have the chance to sit down 3 nights in a row and watch a movie every night, do them like one a night. Like I don't recommend watching them like chaining them together because they're very weird. They're very well done. They're really well animated. They have the entire original voice cast back, but I would not marathon EVA 1.11, 2.22, and 3.33 in a row. Especially that naming scheme. Anyway, Tim, you put the next one on here. I haven't actually seen what they talked about for this one.
So I heard that I heard on my other podcast today and then watched the trailer. There's a One Punch Man video game coming out. As much as it should be a game, as much as it should be a game where Saitama just one punches everything, or the funniest line from that podcast was, there needs to be a prompt of press square to punch. But this is going to be another shitty arena fighter because they're always shitty arena fighters.
It's not an arena fighter. It looks like...
Okay, it's a regular fighter. Who cares?
It might be like a Budokai style, just... like 2.5D. I don't know. Some of the shots make it look like it's an arena, but like it looks like it's mostly like standing side by side. But
how about
the
this?
problem
Who
is
cares?
The trailer makes it look like Saitama's just the most OP character because he doesn't flinch.
They literally don't make him do anything, and it's like, oh, good.
Although Genos and Speed of Sound Sonic look pretty dope as fighting characters.
I mean, is the game going to be if you pick Saitama, you have one chance to punch? You like build up meter the whole time, and you just have one chance to punch?
There's absolutely no way.
No.
I'm wondering if he's going to be like a story-only character.
No. Because in the perfect world, that's how
Hold
it
the
would
fuck
work.
up. Moomin Rider is a playable character. This is going to be the best game ever made.
It's going to be terrible.
Yeah. No, dude, Moomin Rider is the best fucking character. Like, he's going to be so
Look, is
OP.
Season 2 any good? You guys, you gave up on watching.
So I'm not done with it yet.
Watched, like...
I've only seen 9 out of 12.
Damn, that's damning.
Really,
no, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because my group is having trouble coordinating being in the same room at the same time. Plus, we like Titan has priority, and then JoJo is priority 2. So One Punch Man has been priority 3 just because of the way this season was. Like, I'll put it this way. Good? I'll put it this way. So the anime community loves making fun of tournament arcs because they're always hype. But the tournament arc in One Punch Man has to be the most boring arc I've seen. Like, it just wasn't good. Mostly because like there was no tension. Because it's One Punch Man.
They always have to be arena fighters. I mean, I guess it's because that's how shonen work. But like, who's still talking about the My Hero one? Remember when that came out and vanished immediately?
Oh, because it got overshadowed by
the shitty shonen Jump game? Oh, so the two shitty games
got overshadowed by that.
But
then Jump was so bad that everyone's like, let's just stop talking about this. Like Here's the thing. I still think the fucking Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games are great, and those are arena fighters, but it's just like, it depends on how you do it.
Do they need to, like, I just wish someone would do something different. It's just always an arena fighter every time.
I mean, it's like, it's hard to, for, like...
Remember how good Fighters is? Tyler, I know Aiden and some of your other buddies still play Fighters.
Yeah, they still play Fighters.
That's just a straight-up fighting game with a good story.
But, like, 2D fighters are kind of... How do I put it? Like, intimidating.
Well, I was gonna say you have to put more effort into them.
Yeah, no, but like it's in most, a lot of people don't buy in because they know I'm not good at fighting games. Where it's just like, oh shit, look at this Hero Academia game. It looks just like the show. And arena fighters don't have that same kind of intimidation factor.
I just wish it was anything else. You know what? Honestly, spoiled it for me. Yakuza.
Would you actually play a 2D like fighters style Hero Academia
Dude,
game? Dude,
I wish.
Fuck.
Would you actually play it though?
I would not.
Because I wouldn't. I think it'd be better, but I still wouldn't play it.
Look, I probably wouldn't, but I'm not asking just for a 2D fighter. I'm just saying that, like, look, like I was trying to say, Yakuza has spoiled me for other games from Japan. Imagine if there was a game like fucking Yakuza, except it was like about a shonen story, where it wasn't just fighting. Yakuza is so good because there's so much to that world. I'm so sad I don't really have time in my life to play another Yakuza game. Apparently this Judgment game is really fucking good.
Nah.
Like, but
Why
the thing is,
not?
like, I don't know what you would make out of a non-fighting Hero Academia game.
It's not non-fighting. You fight all the time.
But like, what would the not fighting be?
Well, you run around and do side quests and stories. Do stuff with it. It sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a Persona game. From the 5 seconds.
That's what Yakuza sounds like.
Well, then why not want something like that for like an anime that's good, like My Hero? Wouldn't you want a Persona-ish game that's like a My Hero?
Not really.
Why?
Like, the thing about Persona is that like there's real characters underneath it all. Like, Hero Academia characters aren't that realistic.
But wouldn't it be cool to have them like fleshed out like that?
I don't like Deku because he goes to high school. I like Deku because he fucking Detroit smashes people.
He goes hard in the paint.
Like, I appreciate them for different reasons. I don't think like a crossover style would be that amazing.
Well, I'm just explaining. All this is just me trying to explain why I couldn't give less of a shit about these arena fighters. Because there's like paper story and gameplay that's the same as every single other one.
It's the same thing as a fucking movie game, except it's for an anime.
Exactly. And no
movie games are always ass. Anime games will always be ass.
And so this game's gonna be ass. Got it. Here we go. All right, moving on to an anime that's good.
All right, so
unlike One Punch is
last Wednesday.
Yeah, last week. It's been a whole week now.
Last Wednesday, the Rising of the Shield Hero concluded, and I thought it did a really good job concluding. I want us to have a short discussion because we're already
I agree.
Like, have time.
We definitely have time. I was very fond of the ending. Mostly because I always play strategy games and RPGs and such where I want to be the traitor. I want not like traitor. Like, I want to be the guy who runs a settlement and like builds it up. So that ending super spoke to me of this guy who's like, I'm just going to build a small village.
Yeah, he started playing the game as if he was playing Civilization.
Yes, and that totally appeals to me. Yeah, that's my jam.
I went through the whole show reading through like every single Reddit discussion thread, and much in the same vein that I talked about this Pokemon and Magic shit, there was a huge backlash surrounding Shield Hero where people just didn't buy into the hype and thought it was a straight up bad show. And I will concede certain points, like that time they spent 4 episodes in that ditch fighting the Pope when it really should have only taken 2.
Yeah,
like I will acknowledge the faults of certain parts of Shield Hero. I'll acknowledge that it started off very strong and then it kind of tapered out once Raftalia grew up and Philo was introduced. That said, I'm rewatching now with my buddy. And I like Philo better on the rewatch because I don't just see her as this annoying obstacle for Raftalia, and I see her more as just like this funny little bird girl. So she's way more enjoyable on the rewatch. But that said, I acknowledge that there are flaws with the show. That said, I think it's a great show.
Yeah.
Especially when in the same week I got to watch Reddit like scream and shout out how much they loved the ending to Wise Man's Grandchild, this isekai of the season. And that show ended with the dumbest fucking shit possible. Like, it opens with an OP main character, then episode 5 or 6, he's like, I'm going to teach all my friends to be just as OP and strong. And episode 11, like, just to put into context, imagine, I'll use the term demon for this. Imagine demons are rare. Once every 100 years, one shows up, and it terrorizes the world. And apparently the army managed to beat one like 10 years ago or something. Episode 3, one of their classmates becomes a demon, and the main character puts him down in 3 sword swings. Unheard of. Damn. By episode 11, there's an army of demons, and him and his classmates are just one-shotting all of them. And I was like, what the fuck did you do to the power scaling on this universe? And the last episode is one of them shows up and starts bodying all of the friends, only for the main character to show up and then the villains retreat.
Still fixes it,
of course.
And it ends on a not ending because they didn't resolve it. They left it like wide open as fuck to just literally pick up from this last fight that you didn't resolve. And Reddit's like, that was how you do isekai. That was great. I love the whole thing. Jesus. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! Is this same group that thought Shield Hero had bad writing because of just how like shitty the other 3 heroes are? Like, I'm not gonna lie. They were so useless the last couple episodes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I don't fault the writing of the show for that. I just think that the author doesn't know what he wants to do with the
I
characters
honestly
yet.
think that's kind of decent writing to have these other guys just be fucking useless. Because how many other shows do they all just team up and go, yeah, we're gonna do it together. We got
And
this.
I think if we get a season 2, it'll pay off because we saw some hints in the end that Sword Hero was like, okay, now Fumi clearly got strong. I'm just gonna do literally what he did. And he's starting over. He's fighting the orange balloons in the field with his sword.
That
To be
was
like,
really
what
funny.
did now Fumi do to get this strong? So I have faith in Sword Hero.
Dude, I think I said this, but I fucking love Lark. Or Larku?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The group of characters they introduced in the last arc was
Awesome.
really good. And
Oh.
so I read a minor spoiler, but basically like there's 13 other heroes.
Jesus, 13?
I think so.
Well, Glass
I'm
is
not
the strongest one, and
double-checking
now
the wiki.
Fumi stopped her, so...
I just wanted to look at who the voice actors were in the wiki, and it's like, he's one of the 13 alternate. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm not reading.
Dude, I just think his design, like, scythes are usually cool. And also the fact that the other chick uses crystal magic, that's radical.
Yeah.
That just seems super awesome to me, where everyone
Yeah.
else in this universe is like, hey, elements, do my shit. And she's like, hey, my crystal buddies, why don't you kill these people?
You know what
Yeah,
she
there-
reminds me of? Fucking Steven Universe.
Using
Tyler, so that's why I
She's
want...
got that
Tyler, I
thing
want
stuck in
Val
her
to
head.
cosplay her so that I can cosplay Lark.
Oh, if you do that, I'm totally going as the shield hero.
I would do that in a second, but Val's probably not going to be on board.
Because she doesn't appreciate
But I would
that true
fucking
men-
do that because that's
not men-
that's an awesome duo. That's a dynamic duo right there.
It is a good duo.
And then we could get
cosplay.
Tyler to play Glass.
Nah,
Jesus
I
Christ.
still ain't playing nothing. Nope.
Shield. I really liked the ending. I like that they kind of leave it open ended so that if the show does end, it's not literally the worst.
It was a good enough ending. It was like I told Tim after the fact. For anyone who actually goes and watches this last episode, the ending scene. I was pissed about this. They show like now Fumina's squad like overlooking the city he's rebuilding, and they start this flip book effect, which is great because for anyone who watched episode 1, now Fumi gets sucked in this world through a book, and it trying to like the flip book stops and they close the book. And then that would have been the perfect stopping point for the episode. But then they just fucking cut back to now Fumi's face. He's like, now here's where the story really begins. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, why does every anime end with that line? And then they
dude, you
cut into
literally
the
could have
actual ending
flipped those
song.
2 scenes and it would have been perfect.
Yes, I don't know why they did that. Like, it would have been a great like bookend
So
for the
dumb.
series, but
So
they just
dumb.
decided not to. That said, I enjoyed the last arc. Manga Reader said it was kind of rushed, but I think the pacing was fine. If they dragged that fight into another episode, I think we would have had another like they're fighting the Pope in the ditch type moment.
So honestly, what extends more in that arc? Like hanging out with Lark and the girl? Because there was enough of that.
More about Lark and more about his party member he recruits at the end of the arc. There was a little more.
Oh
on
yeah, everyone was like, she just shows up. That's so lame. There's so much more. Fucking who cares?
If we got a season 2, she's gonna get her moment.
As soon as we get past 3 party members, it's impossible. That's almost how D&D works. No one's on equal footing after 3 party members.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Yeah,
I think we talked a bit about Shield Hero. So our overall consensus right now is Shield Hero good.
Yeah, Tyler, you never actually said what you thought of the end of Shield Hero.
Yeah, because y'all were talking about
Well,
it.
go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I thought it was good. I thought it ended just fine. Pretty much everything that Freeman said, I agree with.
I forget.
I
did
did think
Luigi?
it was
Oh,
corny.
no, go ahead.
At the end where it's like, oh, now our story's really gonna begin. It's like, I was like, fucking crap. Like, I was like,
God
this
damn
is
it,
not what I
Japan.
need.
Way to just announce that this anime is not getting a 2nd season, you jerks.
No, because even shows that get 2nd seasons, they do that too. They do the now it's just starting. The camera pans up to the sky, and then the ending song starts.
It's kind of funny
playing.
if the show if they're like now our story's beginning and then they're like half a season next season final season like 13 more episodes and that's it. Oh, less than.
I mean,
I don't remember what Luigi said. Did he say he liked it?
I don't think he told us yet.
Okay. Sorry, Tyler. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
That's fine. I still kind of hope that the show throws me for some more curveballs. I feel like my stress. I want my stress meter back. Honestly, my blood pressure up. I mean,
I feel like you don't get that unless something like we break up the party, basically.
Even that, but like you see some shit like that coming though.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Like I mean, like it's probably not, but like if say the party were to break up, it's like, well, who gives a fuck? Like they're gonna come back again. Like what's it called? Like what I kind of like with the Walking Dead in the comic, right? Just because like what you said mentioned it. Uh, Tyrese was like a big character. I don't know if you guys know the show at all. You probably don't.
I haven't watched such a long time. Also,
That's
apparently,
fine.
Walking Dead's comics is ending.
Thank
Yeah.
I just saw
Christ.
this headline that's like next issue's the last one or something.
Damn. Thank God. It's about fucking time. But Rick like befriends another character who basically is like a secondary main character of sorts. And they get into this big fight. And you're like, "Oh, it's whatever, right? Like they're just going to have a fight and they're going to make up later or whatever." And the second main character's like, "Oh, I should probably like, just make amends with Rick, and then he just dies literally like within the next couple of pages.
Nice.
I was like, God damn. Like you don't get closure. Like that's it. He's dead. There is no closure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want stuff like that. But I ain't gonna get it because all these shows are soft.
I feel like if any of them though are gonna play to that, Shield Hero would. I don't know for
Nah,
sure,
they
but
don't. No, they've been playing it too close to the chest.
I don't know. I feel like we'll have to see.
Like we got our closure with bitch, but that's about it.
Did we though? She tried to poison Naofumi last time we saw her.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
everyone
she
just kind of
got
wrote it off
caught.
as a joke, which is the most bullshit
So
thing.
stupid.
Yeah.
Don't worry
So it's
about
like,
it,
I
guys.
feel like all that
She's an
stuff
idiot.
is like over. Like now it's like okay.
I don't know.
We're
I
gonna
feel like we saw that the king is still around and scheming, so I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But it's fine.
Plus, there's still the other heroes. Maybe we focus on them more. Let's see how these other heroes recover from Naofumi clapping them every single time it's mattered.
That'd be interesting. So I remember, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but season 2 of Overlord had a large section where they just
Hell
didn't
yeah,
show
dude.
the main character at all,
The
and it was a
whole
lot of the
first
side
arc of the
characters, right?
no, not even that. Well, that's true too. The second arc focuses on Sebas in the capital, but the first arc is just, hey, we're the lizard men, and there's not even anyone on screen. And if you don't know going in, hey, halfway through this arc, you find out that Ainz is actually the villain. Like it's literally just, it looks like a new show. Here's the lizard men. They're gonna develop their characters, and you're not even looking at what Ainz and his crew are doing. You just kind of have this vague line at the end of season 1 that he's interested in lizard people, and then hey, we're the lizard people, but we don't actually know what's going on, and then they fight him, and yeah, it's pretty great.
All right, I was just fact checking something. So I know that there's a spin-off series about the spear hero. I was just double checking if it's just his
Is there
perspective on
really?
events, but it's an alternate retelling. He comes in, but he doesn't have any abilities but time reversal or something. I think it's
Oh,
like a
so
short.
like super busted. Got it.
Yeah, no, I think it's like a short-term thing.
That's
Like
Freeman.
if you take kind of what happened with RE0, but it's like I don't know. I didn't read this shit.
Freeman, I don't think anything is. You can easily argue in any situation of fiction that the best power is time power.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
why,
busted. That's why RE0 is such a great anime. Because if you take someone who's otherwise the most powerless person in the universe, but give him the ability to rewind time when he dies.
Look, we're gonna get to it in half a second, but that's not true. But we can't watch RE0 because we started another anime.
That's fine. Anyway, let's talk about what we watched this week.
Speaking of watching other anime, you were
I already
telling us
went-
about how some other anime was terrible.
So I already vented about it. Wise Man's Grandchild had a ending, and if you're actually defending it just because the main character proposed to his girlfriend, yes, that's very novel for anime, and it's fucking shitty that was novel for anime. But the rest of this show was hot trash. It did not need to be an isekai. It could have just been a fantasy world anime. It was just straight up power fantasy bullshit. It was fun for the first 4 episodes, and then it stopped being fun after they're like, everyone's a fucking demon now.
So are
No.
you saying that this is like I already forgot the name. The robots where it's a guy and a girl who look like they're doing it. And it was
Darling
the
in
big
the Franxx?
Yeah.
No. I went into this show knowing like this feels like a trash isekai, and everyone's like, yeah, but it's well done. I'm like, it wasn't well done. It just did every trope. Darling the Franxx set out to be something good, and then it like around
Gotcha.
episode 15 it floundered. Like
Gotcha.
13 to 14 had this really great payoff for the first half of Darling the Franxx, and they just couldn't figure out where they were going from there. We're like, aliens. I wouldn't put it in the same basket as Franxx. I would put this in the same basket as
Fruits Basket.
no. Well, honestly, I'm not enjoying Fruits Basket that much either. But I don't think
Ooh.
Fruits Basket is bad. It's just the last couple episodes have been kind of samey, and I'm getting bored.
Damn.
Yeah, so hopefully that changes. But yeah, if you really like generic ass isekai, Wise Man's Grandchild is perfect. Just yeah, that's all I can say about that.
What's the next one? Oh,
The next one.
oh,
So-
this is one I do want to start
Oh.
watching at some point.
Oh yeah, I'm the one who started watching.
Oh shit.
Actually, it's both of us. Tyler and I both
Yeah, I thought I
independently started
remember
watching
Freeman
Demon
mentioned it.
Slayer.
Yeah, except I think I'm further than you.
Yeah, I only saw so it was on Saturday after I finished Wise Man's Grandchild. I started watching the last couple of episodes of Isekai Quartet, but I didn't want to marathon them. So I'm like, I still have more time before I want to go to sleep. What do I want to do? And I knew I was going to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm like, let's watch one episode of something new and just see how it is. I'm like, everyone's ranting or raving about Demon Slayer. Let's go see what's good about it. And I watched episode 1, and first thing I noticed is, oh crap, it's the studio that does all the Fate adaptations, so it's going to be some high quality shit. And
Yeah.
episode 1 was some high quality shit. Like, this is really good.
Yeah, the fight scenes are pretty dope.
Yeah,
I saw some shots on Mother's Basement's video, and that's some animation in those sword
yeah, they
moves.
make use of 3D camera correctly. So I know, I forget, there was another YouTuber, I forget what his name was, but I'm still subscribed to him. He does a lot of these, like, video essays. And one of the big things about how the series Pokemon X and Y saved the series, and one of the big things that made that series actually good was, instead of having very static animations, what they did is they developed this 3D camera they were going to use that made like the camera constantly moving around the battlefield of the fight, and it made fight scenes look really dynamic for Pokemon. Like, if you watch just the first episode of Pokemon X and Y, it's obvious these fights are really well choreographed, and this show does that, but like in 4K is like how it feels. They're really good at using this 3D camera to show like motion across a battlefield.
Gotcha.
And I know I saw. Go ahead.
No, you go. You're still.
I know I saw one scene that happens later where someone's in a room that looks like the room is revolving or like it's shifting gravity, and the way they handled the camera in the short clip I saw looks really good. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. I like it so far just because I'm a sucker for a good revenge plot. Which is it's not really a revenge plot, I guess.
It's not like a revenge sub theme.
Yeah, but it's got a revenge sub theme, but like there's another overarching goal to it. I won't get into the just for spoiler reasons. But one of my favorite things though, still in with the animation, is like the watercolor thing. I know you haven't run into it yet, Freeman, but they kind of show it in the opening. So later on, like Dude Bro gets moves, right?
Yeah, he's
Like
doing stuff
special
in the
moves.
opening.
Yeah, exactly. And like every time he does moves like that, the animation of the moves are like this watercolor, like you would see from like an old Japanese like
Yeah, that's what
wall
I saw. It
scroll or
looks
some
gorgeous.
shit like that. And I'm like, damn, this is awesome. And like when he actually used it for the first time in the show, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Also, they don't give two fucks about killing certain people.
Oh
Wow.
shit.
Like later on, I'm like, they're gonna wuss out. They're not gonna actually show it. Oh.
Wait, so is this one of these like no one's safe kind of shows?
I don't know about the main cast probably will. But you know how like some shows like, oh, like this demon's about to eat this child, or stab it through the face, but nope, the hero's gonna come in and save it. Nah.
Damn.
Children aren't safe.
Children aren't safe.
Yeah. Like it so I mean if it can keep that, right? Like I'm all about it. Like that's what kind of like I like Goblin Slayer. It hooked me like that, but I feel like I didn't get enough of that like very grounded realism. But I understand a lot of people don't want to watch that kind of stuff because it's like too depressing.
That's your aesthetic, though.
It is like it's not because like oh like I just like watching violence. Like no, like I like it when real stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like it like even if it like wasn't violence related. Like I
Mo realism.
yeah I want my real like I feel like the whatever source material like I'm watching, I want it to feel more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I feel like I'm watching like an actual story with like real characters and like real development.
I'm trying to.
But
Did you watch Parasite?
I did not.
All right, I think that might be up your alley with how you're describing Demon Slayer.
Okay.
Possibly.
I only
It's not.
knew
It's not super grounded in reality, but the characters themselves are grounded.
right. Like I'm all about fantasy, but like I like if something were to happen, like say like like the action has a consequence. Like I don't like this ex machina shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Shield Hero, right? When
Oh no.
Oh,
was
the
it the
queen
king?
shows up.
Well, when the not when the king shows up, but when they're about to get executed,
Oh, and he's like,
and
no.
he's like, no, we're gonna spare their lives. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Like anyone would actually let them just fucking die. All right, but you know what would happen? He would regret his decision later on. It would happen, but that's the thing though, and that's what makes better writing. Do you think it makes sense in this character for what he did, but would it be better to watch him make that decision and then realize like Jesus Christ, like this is the person I'm actually turning into?
I think part of it though is that it's not. I think if it was just him that was implied that he would do it, but then I think if I remember correctly, don't they shoot it that like he notices that the queen is like super freaking out about it, so he does it kind of not just for himself.
Yeah, they did it very.
Yeah.
So I read the manga chapter. We were at Colossal Con when that episode came out, and
Yeah,
I read
yeah.
through the chapter because it plays out very differently. Like
Right,
like the
because
queen starts begging him a lot earlier, like please don't.
Yeah, the queen's like,
He's like,
"Please,
I'll
dude."
think about it, and then like he doesn't have that moment of like indecisiveness. He just kind of walks in and goes, I already made my decision. Here's what we're gonna fucking do. Like it's I don't know.
yeah, I mean, but like I kind of wish that was like that because it's like oh, especially after they play him up to be like this good guy, but like there's a piece of him that just won't let go of what happened to him, which had been a constant theme of the entire show, including up to even when he met Melty, even then like in the early stages of that relationship.
Can I just point out we've done almost a full hour on just Weeb.
I know this is a fucking anime podcast now. That's what it is.
I don't like I yeah I don't know I because I think about Shield Hero and I think about like these kind of shows
Hold
that
on,
are
keep talking. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Oh boy.
all right.
Yeah, keep going.
And I'm just like I feel like it could be better. I feel like right as I'm about to get to the part where I'm like, oh shit, they play it safe.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean,
like I said, like not a lot of people want to go for that, even though
that's kind of the
reason why they
problem.
stuck around.
I think you're right though. I think a lot of it is they don't want to commit too hard to it because they need to sell books to stay in business.
But it's dumb in my opinion because the like everybody everybody's sick. All right, that's not a shocker, listeners. Y'all sick. Y'all sick in the head. When you saw that first episode of Goblin Slayer, and you saw those girls getting raped and that dude getting killed because his sword was too long, you were like, "Ah, shit, I want more of this." But then everybody, it's true.
No, I don't totally disagree, but at the same time, I feel like that like a whole show of that would burn out for people. I think it's a lot of like what Goblin Slayer had was the shock factor of that first episode, but I don't think they could get away with making the whole show like that.
Well, you can't. You gotta pace it. It's gotta be things like that have to be like a good horror flick, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but it's like it's not that though. You don't get that. We haven't had anything that made me go, oh shit, like this is about to get wild since that first episode. I honestly, I came I for that like, oh wow, like this is pretty crazy. But I ended up staying for like, oh, like this is kind of cool. Like you got some good character development, despite there not being any real names. But like that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's got good action. It's got some cool stuff. The world's interesting. Like I have no problem following this character at all. But like I want more of what I came here for. Honestly, like I want that surprise. And you know what? That's what Attack on Titan season 3 gave me.
Yes,
Like
very much.
rounding it out, because there was action, there was like this weird like mind games that they've played with each other, like not just like friend against foe, but even friend against friend, and trying to understand like how everybody's feeling, and like what's going to happen if I make this decision, and all these moral conflicts, and like real decisions of what would happen if something like that did happen. And I'm like, man, like that's what I came here for. That's what I want. I want to be shocked and awed, not by the shock value of just like some violent event happening. Like I want like to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you should watch
Demon
Attack
Slayer.
on
That's why you should
Titan.
watch Demon Slayer.
And I don't know. I don't know if Demon Slayer is gonna give me that though.
It's
Right? I'm
probably not.
only.
It's a very different show.
It's yeah. Also, yeah. That's another reason why I'm watching it too. It's a very different show.
That sounds neat.
It feel like it's got a different feel to it, and I'm like, oh, I'm willing to give it a shot because it's different, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you got so many fucking isekai shows out here right now. Like that's the hotness.
Ugh.
Like I could do without neat loser die, neat lord dies, comes back a hero.
Damn. Why you gotta call out so many people, Tyler?
Why you have to
Yo,
call
man,
it the entire
everybody's a
anime
fucking
industry like
loser.
that?
If a neat lord were to die and get resurrected into another world, they'll die inside 5 minutes. Easy.
Probably.
They wouldn't have their waifu pillow with them.
But what about a Slimu?
They just get eaten by the nearest frog.
Uh,
Konosuba style.
Just-
Do you want to put on here?
I get that reference.
So you didn't put Zani. Do you want to talk about Konosuba real quick? So you watch that?
Oh, me? Oh, I thought I talked about it.
Did you talk about it last week?
Did you?
I honestly can't remember. All right, I'll speak quickly on it. I caught up on Konosuba. I really like it. It's basically the Jerry Springer of anime, where I just watch it. I turn my brain off, and I just like, he stole panties. That's funny. Like it's funny for what it is. I don't recommend it for everybody.
Hey.
But it's
only
still,
for real men of culture.
it is truly for men of culture only.
There it be.
Actually. Wait, Tim, did you watch that show at all? Did you watch Konosuba?
Yeah, we watched it. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't.
I feel like
hate
Val enjoyed it more than you did, Tim.
She did. I don't know. I'm at the point. I was at the point where I was just like, this is so stupid.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It's so
But
dumb,
like
but that's
there
why
are
it's good.
the lines and some of the faces, like there's one line later on where Aqua, I remember they're going
Aqua.
through the forest, right? And she reveals that she has dark vision. And what's his face turns to her.
Kazuma, who's been living in like a stable with her for a couple months, is like, you have what
Yes!
now?
Like, wait, what? Like, you've always had this? And she's like, yeah, like, and the rustling you heard. Yeah, I just kind of turned away. And he's just like, thank you. Thank you so much. I died. Like, it's stuff like that. And, or the many frames of hand animation that they gave
Yes.
Kazuma.
Mhm.
Like, that, it's so dumb. It's so fucking
The worst part is every time he does it, there's always some big build like, Kazuma, do the trick, and he's like,
Do
okay,
the
and then
trick.
suddenly the show's just like, all right, we're gonna be like 80 frames per second for this next bit, and it's just the most well animated hand in anime.
Yeah, and then the square, and like honestly, like the whole square up thoughts meme, I wasn't ready for like what it actually was.
It's such a weird
Like,
episode.
The line that comes after, he's like, "Some things are just worth dying for." I was rolling. I was actually fucking dying. You must escape. No, I must take the punishment. No, some things are worth dying. So it's stupid. So see, listeners, I don't have to be serious all the time. I like comedy. That's what Konosuba is. It's a comedy. It's not an action show. It's really a comedy.
That I can agree on.
Yes.
And then what is this Gone with the Wind? What is this?
Freeman fucking
So
with me.
Tim, what did you watch again?
Run with the wind.
Run with the Wind. There we go. You want to talk about it briefly? Because none of us have seen it.
So
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
So I forget. I think it was either Mother's Basement probably or something else where I saw a video and they were like, "Hey, Run with the Wind's good," and it's from the studio. I think Freeman, you might have told me. I forget where I heard it originally, but it's from the studio that did Haikyuu, which obviously we love. And at the convention a few weeks ago, we cosplayed as them. So I threw it on, and it's actually really pretty good. I kind of went in thinking, oh, this is just another Haikyuu, where it's just, hey, look at this group of high schoolers who have their own minor problems, but it's more about them just getting better at the sport because they love it so much. This show is one guy really wants to run in this race, so he's going to blackmail a bunch of people into running the race with him.
Hell yes.
Blackmail is kind of a strong word, but basically he tricks them all into living in the dorm that's actually for the track team, and then he one by one stalks them enough, like learns their habits and lifestyle enough that he can use their own weaknesses against them to get them to the point where they're gonna do it. Like there's this twins who are on the cover on the picture is of the two twins on Crunchyroll. He's like, if you run and we win this race, you'll meet lots of girls. And they're like, hell yeah, we'll run this race.
Hell yeah.
And so the whole show is this team building, and then there's two kind of mainish guys. One of them is the guy this is very minor spoilers. It's first episode. He had knee surgery due to an injury in high school, and he's in his last year of college, and this is literally his one shot to do this big race. So he's like, I will do whatever it fucking takes to get the 10 men I need to run this race together. Which is why the blackmail and everything. It's hilarious. It's really funny. I actually love it. And then the other guy is basically someone who... He was the super sports star when he was younger in high school, and his coach isolated the fuck out of him by being like, hey, everyone sucks compared to this guy. So he's like this super damaged, super good runner. So he basically gets brought in, and it's some of it's kind of tropey, but overall it's a really fun time, honestly. Like it's so different from Haikyuu because Haikyuu is all about, hey, we're all varying degrees of mean to each other, but we all fucking love volleyball and we just want to crush volleyball super hard, except for like your guy Freeman, like the guy you guys play with. There's like one or two, but most of the characters are like, yo, fucking volleyball, yo. And they spend like the whole episode on like, what was it? Like all of the last season was mostly one game of volleyball. Now we're only like 5 episodes in, but just like the way the guy finds out about all their lives, like one guy's desperately trying to find a job for when he graduates. And he's like, hey, you know what looks really good on a resume? Running this sick race.
God damn it.
It's really enjoyable, and it's pleasantly different from how Haikyuu was. So it's not like retreading the same kind of sports tropes. I don't know if this is kind of tropey for other sports shows out there. You can definitely tell this is the same studio that did Haikyuu. The guy who...
Just because the art style looks kind of similar.
Yeah, the guy who does the quote-unquote blackmail, his eyes look almost identical to the same super animated style as Hinata's, and the other main character, who's like the damaged, super good runner, is almost a dead ringer for Kageyama. But it's really fun. It's a lot of fun, and I think we're gonna watch through the whole thing. Apparently, it's a show that's currently coming out, but like the last episode is about to come out or something. So we're
So
gonna.
it ends this season.
Yeah, so we're not in any danger of like running out of episodes and having to go weekly or anything. But I recommend it. It's been a lot of fun. If you liked Haikyuu, I think this is a fun, different sports thing. And then hey, we
also, so real quick, the studio that's working on this is the one that might be doing Titan next year.
shit.
Production IG.
But I want Haikyuu.
I mean, they're also doing Haikyuu. Keep in mind, Titan is not until fall of next year.
Yeah, but they got to
So
start
Haikyuu
now
season
for all the money.
So the thing is, Haikyuu's running up to the manga. So after season 4, we're gonna be waiting again for more source material.
As long as it keeps going.
I mean,
Oh,
probably not
also
to
speaking
end
of
at the
which,
end the tournament.
I saw on r/anime or something today, like redesigns for Hinata and Kageyama.
Yes,
Hinata's hair looks so different.
they've changed the art style quite a bit because
It's gonna be weird. I'm not gonna
1, 2, and 3
lie.
were based on the character designs at the beginning of the manga,
Mm-hmm.
but as the artist style evolved, they didn't change it in the anime. They
So
decided
now they're playing one big jump.
They're refreshing it to the way it was when it started in the manga. For anyone who watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they do that with each part. That's why they all look so different, because the author's been changing his art style over the last 20 years or so. So it's every part they'll refresh it.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're doing that with Haikyuu.
Wow. All right. In the interest of time, let's get to this last thing so then we could do weeks and call it and go play Monster Hunter.
Sure.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I watched a silent voice. I cried. There, done.
So you you hadn't finished it when we talked about it.
Oh.
Remember, you were
well,
like, I
finished
watched some of it.
and I cried. So
Wasn't it really good?
Yeah.
nah, man, not at all.
Tyler, you were just asking for real shit, you know? Like, this is pretty real
Dude,
shit.
it was real.
This is a heavy ass
It
movie.
was real. Dude, it was heavy. It was so heavy.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Definitely teared up. Definitely
hurt.
fantastic.
It hurt me physically,
Yep.
actually.
Dude, it's
Like,
super well done.
I honestly don't know how else I can review it other than like talking about the movie, but
Mhm.
like
Watch
it
it.
just actually hurt.
Dude, I
if
hear
you-
you.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Like it's one of those movies where actually I kind of rate it with oh my god, I'm trying to remember what the fudge that movie is.
I don't know.
Cuz there's another movie I rated like this but in a different way. It's got Jared Leto in it and he takes all the drugs.
Oh, Batman.
God damn it.
God damn.
Fuck. God damn it.
Sorry, Suicide Squad.
No, anyway, it's one of these movies where it's like I don't recommend that you watch it when you're too sad, or if you're too happy. I feel like you should be.
You need to be
somewhat
neutral when you
mellowed
watch this
out.
movie.
So-
You need to be neutral.
You say that, but I almost wonder if this is the kind of movie that you could watch when you do feel really down, and I could almost see it making you feel like you're not totally alone.
But see, you gotta finish it then. You can't be like me.
Well, yeah, fuck you.
Don't
You shouldn't have
finish,
done it
like,
that way. I
half-
yelled at you for that
I
when you
didn't
told me
know.
that.
I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah, and I
had
was like,
zero
Tyler, you
clue.
fool. You should just watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
You
you
fool.
fool. Exactly.
Was it
but,
Dallas Buyers Club?
No, it was not Dallas.
Is it
Buyers Club.
newer than that or older?
It's way older than that.
Requiem for a Dream and Thin Red Line?
That's it.
Requiem
There
for a
you
Dream?
go.
Okay. I just went to his
Requiem for a
IMDb.
Dream. Yeah. Requiem for a Dream. That's a movie you can you have to be neutral, or else if you watch it while you're sad, you're gonna want to kill yourself, and if you watch it when you're too happy, you're gonna hit rock bottom. You're gonna
Oh,
want to kill
damn.
yourself. If you're just neutral,
Well,
you
you're
just might survive. It's one, this movie is a little bit more upbeat. It's a very hopeful piece.
Mhm.
It gives you hope, and it gives you the real lesson about friendship and what it really is to be a friend.
Tyler, I know we said it to each other the other day, but outsiders shouldn't have opinions. Holy fuck.
Dude,
That's so spicy. Freeman, do you
Yeah,
remember
that
that?
was-
movie is
Yes, I
filled
know the
with-
scene you're talking
Holy
about.
shit, it's so good.
It's filled with so many scenes that are actually memorable and
So, ugh.
meaningful to the rest of the movie.
Dude,
Like I said,
standing outside the hospital as she walks by every day.
dude.
Oh, so good. So good. What a good movie.
Yeah.
And with that, we're
Well, hold on. We're
oh,
not
come on, it's
quite
been an hour.
done. We're not done with the weeb shit yet, Tim. As much as we're pretty much done and we don't really want to talk about it, I needed the opportunity to show off the new soundboard I have that hooks right into Discord
Oh,
so that I
God.
could play this theme song for the Waifu Wars 29.
All right.
Oh my god.
I don't know how loud the volume is. Is it too much or is it
Nah,
okay?
that was pretty quiet. Don't worry about it.
All right, then let's keep it up. So I'll change the volume for next week. But so just a quick recap on the Waifu Wars. I'm sending you guys a link on Discord.
Oh,
Unfortunately, as predicted, my number one waifu, Megami from Food Wars, did get absolutely destroyed by Saber from
Shocker.
the Fate series. That said, the contest was on for which of the first Konosuba girls would get eliminated. And everyone said it was going to be Yun and Wiz, shitty characters.
Wow, this
But
isn't
it
even
turns out-
loading for me.
It turns out Darkness was the first of the Konosuba girls to
What?
be eliminated from the tournament. Yeah,
Wow.
so she's in an actual power bracket, got eliminated, whereas both Wiz and Yun are like coasting through. Wiz
All right,
is up
Freeman, you
against
can turn the
nothing-
music off now.
All right, cool. Sorry, I want to keep it dramatic, but
It's fine.
I have it too loud on my side, so I couldn't even hear myself
I
thinking that.
super legitimately can't access the thing right now. The link won't work.
Wait, really?
Oh, nope, it finally loaded. Wow, that was really slow. It finally
So
loaded.
everyone's spamming shit. So let's real quick. I'm just gonna look through the results going on right now, but I can tell you this. I think Aqua is up against what's her name? Toru from Dragon Maid. I think this is actual real competition going on.
All right, so hold on. Freeman, let's go through each of the things that are happening right now.
Yes.
Okay, Group A, Megumin versus Mayuri Shina.
The main female character from Steins Gate. So the other female character won the first Best Girl contest. And Mayuri's a contender, but she's not going to beat Megumin. She's just not popular enough.
Okay, and then Ram versus Mikasa.
Jesus Christ. Ram. I would be ashamed if Ram won. So Ram is the twin sister of last year's winner, Rem. Rem is not that great of a character. She doesn't have any development. But she's up against Mikasa, who's like the biggest nothing burger of a character from Attack on Titan. Like
Yeah.
her entire character arc can be summarized as just repeating Aaron's name in varying volumes. Like this is a dumb bracket, and whoever goes here is gonna lose to Megumin.
So you're saying Megumin's
Hands
got
down.
that bracket
Megumin's
locked.
winning Group A. There's
Okay.
no way she can lose.
Okay, so Group B, now we have 4 things going
Yeah.
on. We have Asuna versus 02.
This is actually really close. I don't know
I can
which circle
imagine.
jerk is going to win here. It's
Zero
I
Two is
really
fucking
can't tell.
trash tier.
she's trash, but like Asuna's not any better. Like I'm picking between trash tonight when I vote for these.
Damn, they both also won their last round by about the same numbers too.
It's honestly anyone's call here. That's
Um,
gonna be a toss up.
Next one,
Next one is the
Hachikuji Mayoi.
the little girl from the Monogatari series versus Saber. I think Saber's gonna crush her. If you look at her last votes, the problem was in her last bracket she was up
Oh,
against
yeah,
another
wow.
girl from the same show. So she was popular within her show. The question is, Saber is huge. I
Gotcha.
think Saber's gonna crush.
Yeah, I'm looking
Mostly
at the
because
votes. You're right.
She beat Megami, so she has to win to preserve Food Wars Megami's pride and honor.
Wiz versus Jibril.
So, as we all know, Wiz is a nothing character, and Jabril is an interesting character from
But
No
she
Game No
has
Life.
the big boobs.
But No Game No
Oh.
Life, like Jabril is also just the fan service character from her show. So it's just like what are we doing here? And I'm pretty sure the popularity of Konosuba is going to carry it because No Game No Life has fallen out because there was no second season and the movie wasn't that great.
Gotcha.
So it's probably the series popularity is going to carry Wiz to like the fucking top 32.
Last one for Group B, Taiga Asika versus Karen Araragi.
Araragi. So it's
Araragi.
funny. It's funny you say that because in the show, the main character, like one of the girl who's over on the left side of this bracket, she constantly mispronounces the main character's name as Araragi, and he's like, "Hey, you said my name wrong." So
Isaka
that's like an
beat
in-character joke.
Uraraka?
Yes.
Whoa.
So
Damn.
you haven't seen this show, but Tiger and Bunny is one of my 10 out of 10s. I know Val loves this show. Like Taiga's character arc was so insane that I voted for her.
Damn. Wow.
Over Uraraka, just because Uraraka hasn't had enough character development yet.
Fair.
But that was a huge upset.
All right, Group
That's
C.
what I'm pretty sure. Like, it's rough. Isaka's a good character, but the Monogatari series is just circle jerking right now.
Oh,
So I don't know
no.
what's gonna happen.
Group C, Aqua
Group C,
versus
Aqua
Toru.
versus Toru. Aqua's probably gonna win, but I want
Aqua's
Toru to
definitely going to win, but I wish to God Toru would.
beat her. Yeah, it's. I don't like this
Oh.
over-representation of the Konosuba girls.
Oh my god. Violet Evergarden versus Yui Hirasawa.
So Yui's insanely popular because Kaon is just like
No.
one of the classic cute girls doing cute things shows.
No,
And
Violet,
Violet
please.
Evergarden's a relative newcomer, so I
Aw.
like honestly, I don't expect Violet to win, but I will be voting for Violet because I think she's a better character overall. But it's gonna be rough. I think Yui's gonna win it
Fuck.
there.
Iroha Ishiki versus Nishimiya Shoku.
You should recognize Nishimiya considering she's the deaf girl from a Silent Voice.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Man, I wish they would give like what the show is under their name or something. That picture is so useless.
We don't want people to associate with the show as just the character.
Oh my god.
Like I don't think Iroha. I don't know. It depends. A lot of people watch the show that Iroha's from. I like her. She's probably best girl in her show now. But then again, Shoko is such a precious being that needs to be protected.
Sounds like Val right there, Freeman.
I
Oh
know,
my
I
god,
had to
Ishiki
channel.
won her last round by 10 votes over Darkness.
Ooh.
There's no way she wins again.
That might have just been the anti-darkness circle jerk.
Yep,
If
that's
the case,
exactly
then,
what it was.
Because here's the thing, Shoko didn't win by that much either, but she beat out again the Monogatari series, which is insanely popular. So I feel like Shoko's probably gonna inch her way out just because she's up against someone who got revenge picked.
All right, last one for C. Emilia versus Asuka Langley.
Damn. All right, so Amelia's gonna crush here.
Asuka Rengri.
Asuka's one of the OG waifus, but I don't think she's gonna hold up. I think Amelia and the RE0 hype is gonna crush her.
All right, final bracket, Group D.
And I'm fairly certain this is going to be done by next week, so I'll just be able to report on the winner next week.
So Holo versus Yui.
Hollow beats out. Oh shit. So Yui's also from the show The Girl Who Got Revenge Picked is from, but Yui's actually a good character. Her direct counterpart she won the second best girl contest, so I don't know. Hollow's like showing real strong this year. I think she's going to win.
Who's Holo?
So she's the main girl from Spice and Wolf. I'm currently watching the show. This is Luigi's preferred waifu, and now that I'm watching the show, I understand why. She's the queen of witty banter.
All right.
Like, the show is about this traveling salesman, and she just like is along for the ride. And let me put it this way: if I was a traveling salesman, I'd love to have her along for the ride.
So
she's
follow up from Laid Back Camp. Apparently, Rin beat Nadeshko, which seems fair, I guess.
I mean,
and then
I
lost
love
to
Rin.
Momo, and now Yao Yozaru is facing off against Yun Yun.
I think Yun Yun's going to win just for the memes.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Because Momo's not that insane of a character.
Nope, she just has, again, the boobs.
And then in the bottom right... Oh my god, meme queen Satania made it in.
Versus
oh my goodness, who's she up against?
Matoi?
Ryuko from Kill la Kill.
Are we going to make it?
What?
We're going to be stuck in the waifus?
We're about to be done. This is the second to last one.
This is the last two. So, I don't know. Kill la Kill's showing strong, but Satania is literally a meme queen. So, I don't know. Satania's probably going to lose that one.
I mean, her votes are way lower than Matoi's for the last round.
First of all, it's just call her Ryuko.
Okay.
And yeah, Ryuko's showing strong. But
last one. Yay, Yoko's still in it. Thank God. Versus Winry, no! Can't these two be spread out at all? These are the two of the only anime on this fucking list I know.
Damn it. This is a hard decision for me.
Winry.
Yoko.
Damn! Did we really just split that?
TNT Podcast, Civil War.
What the fuck?
Dude, I love the shit out of Gurren, but Yoko's way less interesting than Winry.
I don't know, man. Like what did Winry do?
Get the fuck out of here. She's a traveling mechanic.
Me? What does she do? You know what? I'll tell you something that Yoko did. Killed two good characters on the show.
Ooh,
she loved two men who were destined
Kiss
to
of
die.
death.
Likely fucking story.
Wait, Tyler, I thought you voted for Yoko.
Hell no, never.
Oh, I thought you said Yoko.
Absolutely not.
Whoops.
No.
My bad.
Winry, dude. If I were to vote between either of them, it would be Winry.
So, you know what's funny? I'd probably say Gurren over Full Metal, but Winry definitely beats Yoko.
I just think that Yoko had way more significance in her own series than Winry did.
I mean, yeah, also true. But I also
But Winry's that
counter
hometown
with
girl.
Winry had more utility.
But Yoko has a gun though.
Yo, you know me.
And
I love my guns.
Well, Tyler, you also
Got
love your your sizes.
You're damn right, but you know what? Hey man, we never got an accurate sizing on Winry. I'm just saying.
Oh, clearly not as much.
Not
Oh my
as
God.
much, but you know what? I know. I got the eye. They're there.
Holy
Exactly.
Gotta play that one more time.
shit.
Exactly.
All right.
All right,
We had our
and
weeb
that's
fun.
it for the weeb shit.
Holy fuck, that was an hour and 15 just going on about the weeb shit.
Jeez, I'm gonna have to start. We're gonna have to start writing down timestamps for stuff in the weeb shit. 'Cause it's honestly most of the podcast. At
No,
this
it's
point.
fine. Fuck them.
No, Tim,
Nah,
we're gonna start
fuck it.
doing
Fuck 'em.
timestamps.
Fuck it. No, I'm not doing it. It's too late.
Well, no, I'll do them after the fact this week. But going forward, we should probably just write them down as we go.
Tim,
Freeman, instead of doing the timestamps, what'd you do this past week and this coming week?
So last week I had my company's internal hackathon. We got really screwed over. For anyone who's trying to do a Chrome extension, they're not as easy as they look. They block a lot of API calls. We had some trouble, but the judges really liked our idea. We didn't get to top 3 to go to the CIO, but we made top 10, which was still pretty good. But I was absolutely exhausted after staying up that entire 48-hour period. It didn't help that afterwards my whole team was like, "Let's go out for drinks." I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I just want to go back and go to sleep.
I'm so tired.
So we went and grabbed a couple beers. I drove home, and that was one of the most dangerous drives home I've ever done. Because I was like, all right, you got to stay awake. Just blast the AC, slap myself in the face, put on some Dragon Force max volume. We're getting home one way or another.
damn, you couldn't even put on the Euro beat. You got to put on Dragon.
No, because the
Force.
problem is Eurobeat has a consistent beat to it, and I start getting
yep, the rhythm.
yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
You start drifting in the not good way.
Yep.
God,
Yeah.
dude. This weekend was pretty low key. I played some Final Fantasy X, which Tyler and I were talking about before the podcast. I'm slow balling this way too hard. Or no, actually, I think we were still on recording when I talked about it. But the point is, playing some Final Fantasy X. Steam sale was happening. I bought Monster Hunter, and then I think Sunday night I started it out. And I hit the first hurdle. They give you the character creation screen. I said, "Oh no, I'm going to be here for an hour." And lo and behold, I was there for an hour.
I don't have
So
this problem.
So I have the perfect character created, and then I got into the room where they give you all your weapons, and oh boy, that's where I spent the next hour. So I'm not even through the tutorial, and I'm already just exploring. This game looks really cool so far. We're gonna play it a good chunk this week.
Probably
I know
tonight
Aiden's,
after this
in
podcast.
the other rooms, screaming that we're not playing yet. But that's probably it. I don't know what else I have going on. I'm probably just gonna play a bunch of games this weekend. Just I have
Anything
4th
for
of
the
July
holiday?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything going on. Probably barbecuing on 4th of July. I was supposed to go to a fireworks show on Saturday, but it was originally oh, it's canceled because of the rain. They're like, oh wait, no, it's not canceled. So I ended up not going to the one I was going to. But you can hear fireworks any night this week. So
Amazingly, we haven't yet. Even in the middle, semi-rural
yeah,
Ohio.
you're not too densely packed, so your
but,
likeliness of randoms firing off fireworks is less.
Yeah, but we're also in Ohio where they sell them in the freaking drugstore next door.
Is it completely legal there?
Dude, I was like, Val, let's just buy 36 sparklers for no reason.
I wonder if it's one of those things that because it's legal, no one gives a shit.
Nah, dude. You know there's kids. Come on.
Yeah. Who am I kidding?
Because I didn't live in Pennsylvania, but I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. And they lit that shit off every weekend.
Yep. Like I said, I'm amazed. Anything else, Freeman?
No, that's it. The new anime season starts next week. I was looking through the chart over the weekend with was it with everyone in chat on Sunday, or was it with just Luigi? I'm trying to remember what
Definitely
happened.
just Luigi. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was just with Luigi. We were looking over the chart, and there's some interesting stuff coming out. There's a lot of trash, like how to
No.
is it wrong to pick up Girls in Dungeon Season 2? The Mother Isekai 2-hit attack. There's a lot of weird shit going on, but I'm convinced there's gonna be a couple diamonds in the rough on some of the shows that don't have a really fleshed out description yet. So I'm gonna play it by ear, listen to what everyone in the YouTube space raves about during the first week, and just kind of feel it out. But we'll see. That's pretty much it for my week. What do you guys got going on?
Tyler?
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I worked a fuck ton.
Yeah, you did.
Making that money.
Yeah, what
Your life.
See here.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money.
I got
Money is power.
I got
Power
my
is
new
women.
gun, so that's cool.
What'd you get?
I got a Smith and Wesson M&P in 40 caliber.
Ooh,
It's a pistole. I mean,
Ooh.
I could
Ah.
send the picture. Yeah,
hell
right.
yeah! Pass it along. I want to see what you got.
Um, and then as for a holiday thing, I was invited to Leslie's house for a barbecue.
Like coming up or in this week?
On Thursday, cause
Okay.
her sister's coming into town, and so like,
No, I knew that, but
her
I know
mom.
they also have that wedding going on, so I didn't know when that.
Oh yeah,
Well, the
yeah,
wedding's over the
yeah,
weekend, right?
Okay.
yeah, on Sunday or some shit like that. I don't care. I'm not obviously I'm not going to that, but I don't know, I'm doing that, and like my other friends wanted to do a barbecue, so I'm doing that. Just working more because I don't have a life. And that's it. I did buy a couple games off of the summer sale. One of them being Shadowrun Dragonfall.
Ooh. Oh, Shadowrun. Yeah, yeah.
And then what the hell else did I buy? I actually forgot what I bought.
That's the issue with
Don't
Steam
lie.
sale. That's a Steam
Yep.
sale.
But it was like whatever it was. It was $3. And oh yeah, Crypt of the Necrodancer. That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about that since the Legend of Zelda version just dropped.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, this thing looks
Cadence
like
of
fire.
Hyrule.
So I
Don't-
was like, you know what? I'll check this out. If this is good, then I'll buy Cadence. And like,
Real
well,
quick, I just want to talk about Crypt because when they were talking about Cadence of Hyrule, I kept misreading articles and I kept saying it's from the makers of Crypt of the Necromancer, and I'm like, this sounds like an unrelated game, but okay. And then I finally realized I wasn't reading the name properly. Like, oh, this makes a lot more
Necrodancer.
sense now. I'm like, that explains this.
yeah. That's all I'm doing though. I got nothing. Tim.
What about you?
Not a ton. My work schedule is a little out of whack because I'm covering the weekend after the 4th. So I'm off Thursday and Friday and working Saturday, Sunday. So I was off yesterday. But work's pretty slow. Val and I don't really have anything planned. I'm probably just going to do normal, like my magic on Saturday after work. And we got some burgers and stuff for a barbecue, but honestly, we're not doing a lot. Been playing Pokemon again. I've been trying to get back into it. I'm trying to do the stupid Victory Road grind forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
The gold and silver experience.
It's so boring. Gotta get my stupid Dragonite. It's gonna take an eternity to fucking get it. What else? Monster Hunter, like Freeman mentioned, me and him both bought it during the Steam sale to play co-op with Aiden. And we're gonna try to get into that tonight. See if we can, or even just learn how to play. Because I put like a half hour in yesterday where I was like, okay, throw together my character because that's what I always do. Because who cares what your character looks like? And
Heresy.
yeah, you see the armor, you don't see the character. It's like Dark Souls. It's like, why customize your character? It just gets covered up in seconds. But yeah, we're gonna give Monster Hunter World a shot. Oh, we also saw the re-release of Avengers for Val's birthday. Unless you really want the poster or really want to see a admittedly very well done Stan Lee tribute, there's no real point. Outside of those two, so you get the poster, which is a cool poster for sure. You get to see a Stan Lee tribute that's just footage of him from behind the scenes and like interacting with some of the actors over the years and talk and just interview segments of him. It's very well done, much better than like shitty YouTube compilations of stuff. But the extra scenes are useless. It's 30 seconds of a CGI incomplete scene of the Hulk doing a fire rescue. I guess it's from like right before the team comes back together after Ant-Man shows up. And then there's a teaser for Spider-Man where it's like Nick Fury and Maria Hill go to a town in Mexico and they run into Mysterio and that's it. It is
great.
super nothing burger. I'm sure there's gonna be a
Super
lot
nothing
more
burger.
deleted footage and stuff on the actual Blu-ray. I honestly, also, our theater had only about 5 or 6 other people in it, and we were at 1:00 on a Sunday. So I honestly don't know if this is going to push Avengers over Avatar, even with this re-release thing. I honestly don't know. But yeah, other than that, really not a lot going on. I've still just been kind of listlessly trying to find a game to sink my teeth into. Maybe that ends up being Monster Hunter. Like I said, I've still been trying to sink more time into Pokemon because I really want to beat the Elite Four and finally go get my Charizard. I've been working on my Magic decks a little bit. Freeman, I told you about the Kaikar deck I was designing, and I was pretty close to
the flying spirit dude, right?
Honestly, dude, I'm kind of... I think I'm just going to have to admit that I'm burned out on deck building. And just sit down and focus build my current decks. Because I'm really happy with the 7 I have. I think I might just take Lycia apart just to take her apart. Just because I don't have that much fun with her. But I'm honestly having it, doing my weekly commander, I'm having a blast with my 6 main decks. And I kind of just want to tune them all up and give them a 2-card tune-up across the board. And just see what happens. So I sent in another few $100 of trade-in yesterday, and I'm actually at the point where I'm almost out of trade-in just lying on my desk. So I legitimately don't think I have another 100 cards worth over $1 sitting on my desk anymore, which is kind of a weird feeling. But yeah, not much else going on. Like I said, maybe I might stream a little bit on Friday or next Monday when I'm off from work, because Val is not off, unfortunately, so... Outside of doing chores, I might actually do a little live streaming in the near future, but we'll see what happens. But with that, I think we're finally done just in time to go play Monster Hunter for an hour. And then we can finally let Tyler go to bed as well. Yeah, you're not gonna actually go to bed. We all know.
I'm gonna stay up for a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back next week with the same, hopefully scheduled podcast. But until then, my name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
I'm just Tyler.
And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.